All right, my name is Adriann Ricker. I am 32 years old. I am from Poplar, Montana. I have 3 children and raised my nephew, and I'm married to Griffin Ricker. And my current job is I'm a public health researcher. I've basically been working since I was 14 years old. I kind of took whatever jobs I could get. I really like the idea of making my own money because my dad would always use the excuse, if you can pay for it, you can do it, or if you can pay for it, you can have it. So I just decided to get a job.
Okay.
And so some of the jobs I started out with when I was younger was mostly customer service. So I've worked at Frosty's, I've worked at Legion. I supported myself through college working at restaurants like Red Lobster. I've worked at Walmart. In the early years, I really had to find jobs that had flexible schedules. So I was a student and an athlete, and then in college, I was a student, a full-time student. So anything that I could work weird, odd hours to support my schedule is basically what I looked for. And then when I graduated college, I had no idea what I wanted to do. So I tried to find jobs in the health field to kind of like figure out what I liked to do. So I've worked at the wellness center, then I worked at tribal health, the college, kind of all over the place, doing different types, I guess, of jobs that fit my degree. So my current job is I'm a senior research associate at Johns Hopkins University. I am working with Dr. Teresa Brocky. She's a Ani Nakota from Fort Belknap. She's actually worked with our tribe for about 10 years. And it was at that time that I had met her when I was working for Tribal Health. And she has an R01. And in the research world, that's like a big, big research grant in the public health world. So, and it's focused on kind of like cultural resiliency and suicide prevention. So it's focusing on like the more exposure to culture and language and connection to other people, like the greater life outcomes you have. And so my job with that is I'm sort of like the senior coordinator on the ground here. And what you need to do that kind of job is you just need some experience in research. There is lots of research happening all over, and particularly on the reservation because we have a lot of social ills. So there are always opportunities. I started out in like the very bottom level in research like 10 years ago. And then I was able to be a part of the Institutional Review Board, which oversees research. And then I've been a consultant. So I've kind of like moved all over the place. And this is kind of my first time leading a research grant on the ground. So Teresa's the principal investigator, so she's the primary overseer because this is her work. And then I'm just the one kind of like figuring out how to make things work here. So for my specific job too, usually a master's in the health field is important just because it gives you kind of like the background and the knowledge you need to. So that's kind of what you need to do that. So it was actually in middle school when I knew I wanted to work in the health field. I had a couple different instances where I was exposed to being able to like advocate for health needs when I was younger. I was really fortunate to be a part of that. But I didn't know what that looked like. And I think when you're young, you have to understand that life is going to direct your path, really. And there's no way to prepare for that. I was never one of those people that I knew I wanted to do X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
Like I kind of knew like what I was passionate about, but I didn't know where that fit.
Yeah.
I guess I've always felt like I'm sort of like a, what do they say, a square peg in a circle, you know, like not really fitting in a specific location. Whereas like my husband has always known he wants to be a teacher. Like ever since you'd ask him when we graduated till now, like it's never changed. But life's trajectory changes and influences it. So I think what I would tell myself back then is like, I would have talked to more professionals in different fields. So like I'm really interested in law, but when I was younger, my only frame of mind with law was like, you know, like what you saw in movies, like, you know, Liar, Liar. I thought only lawyers were people in courtroom and stuff. And had I known that there's like ways you can be a public health person and a lawyer, I might have pursued that. Or, you know, like I think sometimes we think of things only like a nurse, a teacher, you know, like you only think things through. So exposing yourself either through internships or just visiting with different professionals is helpful, and doing it early on, because you don't want to waste time in college. Like if you choose to go through college, like don't waste a lot of time like switching your career path and degrees there, because I think like on the ground doing the work is where you learn what you want to do. So I would just tell myself to do that.
Yeah.